Want to retire early with real estate? Well, there are a lot of people in the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early community, that have done this. And one of them that is really popular is Paula Pant. She has a website called affordanything.com, and she was able to retire at the age of 31, due mostly to real estate. And I was also able to retire from my corporate job at age 36, due mainly to real estate. So it is totally possible. And that's what we're going to be discussing in the video today. I'm Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com. Hit that like button and the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel to get more information about building wealth to become financially free at a young age. And we are going to dive right in. All right, what exactly does it take to retire early with real estate? Let's first define what retire really means. And to me, it is just being able to quit your 9-to-5 job if you want to have that option or that choice. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to. It means that you don't have to trade your time for dollars if you don't want to. Because you could retire and go sit on the beach and just lounge around all day if you want to. But I don't think most of us are going to do that. We're probably going to work on something that we are passionate about. So retiring just means that you aren't working for the money, but you can work for the money if that's what you want to do. It's your choice. You're not forced to do it because you need to pay bills. Now that we are on the same page about what retire really means, how are we going to retire early with real estate? I'm going to share with you my story, although there are numerous ways that this could happen. But here's how I was able to do it. And this is more of a top-level view because who wants to watch an hour-long video? Okay, maybe my mom would, but probably no one else. So I'm not going to give you all of the details because we would be here for a really long time. But I do have another video where I break it down into more detail, so I will leave the link to that above and below in the description, so you can check that out if you would like to. All right, so when was I able to purchase my first property? When I was 25 years old, I purchased a townhouse. It was a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath townhome. And I actually didn't put 20% down, which I know a lot of people do. I think I put about 5% down. So this would have been about $6,500. I feel like that is a reasonable amount to have by the age of 25. I graduated from college and I lived at home while I went to college. I didn't have any student loans to pay off. I paid for college while I attended college, so I had a job. And when I purchased this first property, I wanted to get roommates to help cover the mortgage payment. And that's exactly what I did. I got 2 roommates to live with me and cover the mortgage payment, or at least most of the mortgage payment. I had an HOA payment, a homeowners association payment, since it was a townhouse, that I had to pay. So that definitely wasn't covered. But my housing cost was kept really low because I had roommates. So that is one of the key things that I did. I kept my housing cost very low and was able to save more money to purchase more properties down the road. And it wasn't until 10 years later that I purchased my second property. So I wasn't gung-ho in the beginning about investing a lot in real estate. I didn't yet realize how important it would be to being able to retire early. This was not on my mind. I just thought this will be a good investment and I can have roommates to help cover the mortgage. But I just didn't see the full potential of real estate yet. So that is something to keep in mind. If you feel like you are too old to get started investing in real estate, you're not. And here's a few of the key important things that I did over the next 10 years to build up enough to purchase another property. So one of the first things was never really going out to lunch with my coworkers or friends. I brought my lunch to work 99% of the time. And that may seem unreasonable to you or not realistic, but that's honestly what I did. Going out to lunch was just not a priority. I wanted to spend my money on other things. And it saved me a ton of money. I actually did a video about this as well, so I will leave a link above and below in the description, and you can check that one out too. Another thing that I did, or I guess didn't do, was put anything on my credit card that I could not pay off within that about 30-day time frame where it was still interest-free. So I was not carrying a balance on any of my credit cards whatsoever. I've never paid interest on a credit card. And I feel like this is really important because a lot of people get caught up in spending a lot of money and just swiping that credit card and not realizing how much money they're really spending and then not being able to pay that balance off in full every month. So they end up paying a ton of money to interest on their credit card, which they could have put that money towards something else if they really were conscious about what they're spending their money on. And it's not that I didn't have fun. I had a ton of fun. I took a ton of international trips. I went to the Caribbean more than once. I went on a Mexican Riviera cruise. I went to Paris, Italy. I've traveled the world. It's not like I was sitting at home thinking, oh, I have to save all my money. I can't have any fun. That is not the case at all. I just knew what my priorities were, and I knew what I was not willing to do in order to have fun. I was not willing to pay any interest on my credit card. If I couldn't pay that off, then I wouldn't be purchasing whatever it is that I wanted to purchase. Another thing that I did was drive my same vehicle for 10 years. I had that truck. It was a Toyota Tacoma. I loved that thing. I kept that truck for a really long time, so I didn't have a car payment for a really long time. And that helped me be able to save even more money. And then at age 33 in 2013, I got a little more serious about investing and I opened up a brokerage account. I bought a few stocks that I thought were going to grow over the long term. I'm a long-term investor. And I also set up a Roth IRA and just started investing more of my money. And in 2015, I was able to purchase my second property. And this one I actually did a 20% down payment, which was about $24,000. So by doing the things that I mentioned, by keeping my housing cost really low, by not going out to eat all the time, and by really focusing on what was important to me and not just swiping that credit card, I was able to save a significant amount of money. And I pulled that money from my savings account and purchased my second property. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. So not a huge property, but something that would still give me positive cash flow. So every month I started to receive some cash flow from this second property. And it wasn't a huge amount. I don't have the exact numbers, but maybe a couple $100s. And I was really excited about how my second property was going and just collecting that extra cash flow that I ended up buying a third property the next year in 2016. And I put 5% down on this property, so it wasn't a huge amount. It was about $10,000. And I decided to move into this property and leave my roommates where they were and replace myself at my old place. And guess what else I did? I got new roommates when I moved into my new property. Not only that, the basement was unfinished. So a couple years later, in 2018, I was able to finish the basement and move into the basement and then rent out the master bedroom, which I was living in. So now I have 3 roommates instead of just the 2 roommates. So I've increased my cash flow again. And this was going well, so I decided to purchase a 4th property in 2018. And here's where investing in the stock market came into play. I took out a significant amount from my brokerage account, from those stocks that I had invested in, and I took out money from my Roth IRA, which you can do without a penalty before the age 59 and a half. Because it's money that you contributed to the Roth IRA. It's nothing that I had earned, that I had gained interest on, but just my contributions. So that is a little positive note for a Roth IRA. And this place is a single family home, so there is no HOA. I take care of everything at this property, and it's a 4-bedroom place, and I decided to rent it to singles. So I'm able to rent it out by the bedroom and make more money than I would if I was renting it to a family. And for this 4th property, I put 20% down, so it was about $69,000. And that may sound like a lot of money, and it is a significant amount of money, but I was able to invest my money, and the stock market was growing over that period of time. So I was able to take out a significant amount of money that wasn't just sitting in my savings that I didn't earn, that I didn't have to trade time for dollars. It was just growing in my investment accounts. Hopefully you can see how important it is to invest your money and not just leave it sitting in savings. Yes, that worked for my other properties, just leaving it in savings. But for this one, where it is a larger property in a really good location, it was more expensive and I needed more money down. And by purchasing these 4 properties, I was able to create cash flow coming in every month, which helped me to be able to retire early. Comment below and tell me if you can see yourself retiring early using real estate. When I was looking at purchasing all of these different properties, I wanted to make sure that I would have a positive cash flow every month. And for me, I am a long-term investor, so I plan to buy and hold the properties. I'm not trying to fix them up and flip them, sell them really quickly. And because of that, because I am investing for the long term and I plan to buy and hold, then I buy properties that are in good locations that are really good properties, and I can see them appreciate over time. And when I was purchasing these properties, I ran my numbers beforehand, so I did my homework. I knew what my mortgage payment would be, including the HOA payment, if there was one. And then I decided, okay, I need to put this much down in order to keep my mortgage payment here, this amount, and receive a positive cash flow every month. And I also took into account all of the different expenses that go into taking care of a property. And honestly, I didn't know everything in the beginning, and I still don't know everything. But what I did do was ask one of my friends who was very successful with real estate. I didn't ask someone that hadn't been investing in real estate whether or not I should buy a property. I looked to someone that was successful and asked him a few questions. So don't think you have to go about this all by yourself and that you have to have all of the answers in the beginning, because you don't. You can still do research online, and even if you don't find someone in person who is successful with real estate, there are plenty of people online who share their information, and you can learn from them. And that's one of the reasons that I mentioned Paula Pant at the beginning, because I have read a ton of her blog posts, and she has been super helpful in helping me analyze real estate investing. Just to give you a few more key takeaways. Since I was able to purchase those 4 properties, I was creating enough cash flow, enough income to be able to retire, to become financially free, so I don't have to work for money if I don't want to. And I was able to do that through real estate because I started small. I started with a townhouse that I would move into, and then I got roommates. And then I took another step and still kept it small. I just did the small 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. And then I bought another townhouse and decided to move into that so I wouldn't have to put as much money down on that property. And then I got roommates, so I'm house hacking. And then I thought, okay, how else can I increase my cash flow? Well, if I finish my basement, I can rent out another room and increase my cash flow. So that's what I did. And then creating this cash flow, I was able to really set my priorities on what was important to me. So I used to spend a lot of money on clothing. I would just go shopping with my friends all the time, and I don't know how much money we spent on clothing. And I'm not into name brands or things like that. Honestly, we would go to Ross a lot, but still there was just this money that I was spending that I really didn't need to be spending. I didn't need more clothes. I had plenty of clothes already. And once I really started to focus in on my priorities and think, okay, do I really want to buy another property? Yes, I do. Where can I get more money from to allocate toward the down payment? And once I had that goal to buy another property, I really started to focus in on where I was spending my money and decide, okay, I don't really want to spend my money on this anymore, and allocate that money toward buying another property. And I think that's one of the things that has made the biggest difference, is by setting that goal, because once that goal is set, that's what your mind is focused on. And, you can create a budget and continue to update it. And, you can do all of these things, but it really makes things simple if you have a goal you're working toward. And then when you think, oh, okay, should I swipe this credit card? Should I make this purchase? You can think, well, what's my goal? Is this going to get me closer to my goal? Or is this something that is really a priority to me? Do I really want to be spending my money on this instead of reaching my financial goal, instead of getting that property sooner? And it really makes money kind of simple because you have that one main focus. And, if you have subscriptions to Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever it might be, you just become more conscious of what you're really spending your money on, and you can allocate it toward your financial goal. And another thing with real estate investing, when I bought my first property, I was really scared. It was really overwhelming to me. And I just kept thinking of all the things that could possibly go wrong and why this is not a good idea. But I let all of those things go and I took that jump, I took that first step, and I had done my homework. I had talked to my friend who was successful with real estate, and I knew it was a good decision. So I made the decision, I took that jump, and once I did that, it was a lot easier to buy my other properties. So once you take that first step, it gets easier and easier as you go along. And yes, you still learn things along the way. I am still learning things along the way, but at least I'm taking action and moving toward my goals. And even when I do make mistakes, I forgive myself and I think, okay, what can I learn from this mistake? And how can I share this mistake with others? And how can I do it better next time? So don't get discouraged and keep moving forward, and you will reach your goals. And if one of them is to retire early with real estate, then you can definitely do it. Make it your priority, make it your focus, and just take it one step at a time. And if you are interested in learning more about investing in real estate, I have a YouTube playlist, Real Estate Investing, so I will leave the link below in the description, and you can check out all of my real estate investing videos. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I share information about building your wealth to become financially free at a young age. And if you are looking to retire early, make sure and get my free course, The Beginner's Guide to Financial Freedom at 40. I will leave a link below in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.